I've seen several of Subodh's shows in the recent years, and I've got to say, I think this is really one of the most exciting of them all. It seems to me it's a show bursting with ideas, and I think as we go through the rooms, we'll talk about some of those ideas that are both really big, but ideas that are also very much in our everyday practical life, and I think that's one of the interesting connections that's running through this show. It's kind of dealing with aspects that, if you like, are cosmic, but also aspects which are extremely at home and domestic. And I think one of Subodh's gifts is to make those connections, to show how in everyday activities, like even things like kneading dough, gunna is as a word that we've talked about before, which in Hindi means to knead dough. And it's a particular kind of labor, but how in things like that you can unfold very large and important ideas. So I hope, as we talk through this, we might raise some of those connections and between the everyday and the eternal, if you like, or the universal. And it seems to me that this room actually will open up some of those themes. But maybe before we say anything, we should just let people walk around and look at the piece.
Yeah. So what's happened with this piece, when you are the other side, when you're entering in the space, when you haven't seen this side, you totally don't get it, what is it? But definitely you have some kind of feeling, this is not a temple, but something very ritual, very spiritual could be too, but nothing to do with that. Still that kind of atmosphere, especially also with this interior, somehow this work inviting a viewer to come close to this particular work. But when you come this side, and kind of little bit shocking, and how much the other side welcoming you to come in. And when you come this side, it's almost like he pushing you through, pushing you back. Okay, you come close me now, you go back. Something tension in between, something so attracted other side, but this side pushes you back. It let you to think, what is it, why? So, and I like that idea of the playing it. And same time, when you look at inside, it's almost like you're going through the infinitive. You don't know the depth. You don't understand how much depth it. Of course, because you know the part, you know the how much inside is gone. But almost like when you see it with the naked eye, you don't know. It's like almost going very, very like black hole kind of things, no? And I wanted to bring that in this particular work. And
I mean, if I can just pick up off that, I mean, I think this idea of the attraction that brings you in, and then this moment of surprise and even pushing away when you come around to this side, I can't help but think of something that we've just learned yesterday, which changes how we understand the universe. And it seems just so resonant with this particular piece. And what I'm talking about, of course, is this result from this experiment that they've been conducting for many years to try and understand Einstein's theory of the universe. And we finally have heard the sound of two black holes colliding. And this has been the big news today. It was released yesterday, and that was exactly one of the things that comes out of that is this idea of space which attracts on one side, stretches space, and then repels on the other side, squeezing space. Now,
I just heard it right now too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you must have had your ear down to the ground on these sort of large antennae that were being set up. And we're not going to try to explain that science right now, but there seems a kind of real resonance between the piece and something that we've come to understand about the universe. it also resonates, I think, with the overall title of the show, which is Invisible Reality, and we'll see that piece in a minute. But as it said in one of the reports, astronomy has all been about seeing, but this was something that couldn't be seen. What they've captured, it had to be heard. And there was something invisible about what was happening. Just wanted to talk a bit about the actual object itself, which is an incredibly beautiful piece of work, and which actually really shows the handmade quality of it.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that I find really beautiful and attractive, to see on this scale, which usually when metal or brass is worked on this scale, it's mechanical, it's polished, it's with machines. But here you can really feel, and going back to this idea of kneading, of the handwork, you really see the beating of the brass on it. And I wondered, Subodh, if you could just talk a bit about that, and how, whether, and if so, how important it was, that showing of the hand process in an object like this.
Most of the art these days make in the foundry, where some technical person make it, and the studio not get so much involved in it, and accept the idea and they form it. But this particular work, it took us to make it 1 year almost, and 7 to 6 people continuous work on it almost every single day. And what you see, like this line, so it's almost like each piece like a small metal bricks and welded together, and bringing the shape together. It was quite tough, because each time you're welding it, due to the heat, they changed the shape, and especially when you try to make the shape. So it was very tough to make it, and I must say that my studio guy who technically in charge for it, his name is Pratik, he's been quite involved with this, and it's very, and all together they're able to make this work. That's why you can feel it quite organic, because it's not so smooth in the sense like a polished, like a casting things. So each time welding and grinding and the hammering, so keep hammering it to make the shape from inside to outside, and that's why somehow it's become one of my favorite piece in that sense, because you can see the love in it, the energy and the workmanship is gone in the particular work, and you can see especially backside and this whole textures, how much is it up and down, but that's the organic things. I love it about it. Yeah.
And again, I mean, going back to this notion of the relationship between the universe or the cosmic and the domestic, I mean, this is a very large version of a pot that you would find in a kitchen in India, or it's a kind of cooking type of shape of a pot, basically.
Yes, absolutely. And also mostly in the street food, especially in North India, is very famous to keep this kind of pot, and chole kulche, they make, and they somehow, it's almost they keep the pot like that too, little bit not straight like this, on the cart, and so its form is also very similar to that.
Although, of course, if any of those carts were serving that, they'd be out of business very quickly. But when was this a piece that you, in a sense, envisaged whole right from the beginning, or did it come in bits and pieces?
Honestly, when I was making this work, I was not thinking about the particular show, this show, but I was making as in a piece of artwork, whom I wanted to conceive it, I wanted to make it. But when this show came, and I thought it's perfectly fit here, looked like a made for here. This work is quite, I never thought exhibiting it either, because I would keep resolving it within a studio for a long time. And I break this piece, it was complete piece, and I start to assembling together. I don't know why, but it was happening and doing it. But interesting thing is, when you see this particular work, you almost think looking at another two images. And what is the another two images is subconsciously you're looking at the first, how the pot was broken. When you see this pot, you always think about how this pot was broken. And then other image you see, how would the real pot look like? And here it is, this pot. So almost you simultaneous looking the three image within one pot. And even you subconsciously that, because our idea is anything we see and how much we image guide us to about, and we know about that particular object in particular way. So subconsciously we always think about it. Oh, table. This is table look like this, and in the same thing, quite interesting. So I like that idea to see. And this work is called Nothing Out of Text. So when you see this piece, is again how much craftsmanship is, especially Mughal craftsmanship. This form I taken it from the close to the Taj Mahal place called Fatehpur Sikri, where you can see this kind of jali in it and the form. So taken it from there and made it my own way. Sculpture is almirah or the balcony or the window. Many forms take it. And same time I had a notion of as a human being, as an artist. I live in this planet. I work in this place. Wherever I am, of course I'm influenced with the surrounding where I am. But same time, always I look at the sky and always think about it. And like we all know, sometime we're discovering there is a many moon, there is a many more planet, and how much discovery is more and more. Like this morning, the news about the again sound of the two black hole colliding together. So those kind of things fascinate me as well, and more actually. And in this show, when you will go through the see will more further work, you will realize my work how much is moving towards that. And you see the static inside, and it's again always in a static is happen in the television, but it's almost form of look like somebody invented in it. Somebody came inside and they given that disturbance somehow. And I like that tension between the where I am, what kind of atmosphere it is, and again you see the static in that way. So I like to play with the both things. And this work is called Sunset.
I think it's a stunning work. I mean, again, the thing that strikes me, and perhaps we should also open it up to some questions here, I mean, is how you take, in a sense, an everyday object and through that help us to see something really vast behind it or around it or through it. So there's a jar that would have been used for storing rice or grain,
yes.
Which by fragmenting, breaking up and then putting back together, as you say, three dimensions of it get seen. What it was is a set of broken pieces, and what it is this recomposed fragment. Here, as you say, it's an almirah cupboard, but also a window, a balcony. And it reminds me, some years ago we were in Rome, and we were in this apartment in a palazzo in Rome. It was full of the most extraordinary 16th, 17th, 18th century art. And it also, in one room, because we were wandering through, and in one room there was a cupboard, and Subodh kind of was not that interested in all this great Italian art that was all on the paintings. I mean, you were looking at it, but what caught your eye was that cupboard, and in the cupboard there was stacks of towels and linen. The household towels and linen was stacked there. And you were squatting there photographing that. And I was kind of amazed because everyone else was going around the apartment oohing and eyeing at this great Italian painting. And what caught your eye was that very domestic object. Yeah. And there was something that you were seeing in it. And it just struck me that it's that kind of eye and that imagination, which I think one feels again and again. So this series of work really represents a new departure for Subodh. He hasn't really used this method, this technique before, or indeed this kind of form before. So Subodh, it would be interesting just to hear from you, to talk a bit about the actual process and technique that's produced these works, and then also if you could just say a bit about what you wanted to do with them and what you see them doing or saying for you.
Since I work over the almost like more than 15 years with pots and pan, so even a very normal way, it's just attract to me and I see them. But interesting thing, I always work with the signing utensil before, more and more. But the huge utensils always has a more texture in it, more a story in it, more content in it. And especially with this all used utensils, almost broken a stage, the family after using it, thrown it away. And maybe they sold it too if they have a little large amount and whatever they got. But interesting thing, each utensils have their own story. Each utensil must be cooked in which manner, which family got it. They eaten the food in happy mood, bad mood, and all the story, everything. I don't know, so much things and so much family contained together. And I like that idea, and yes, I like the textures. So when you see this fabric as well, this fabric is as well is leftover things from the tailor, and especially in middle class family. In India, they wear lots of colorful clothes. So when they go to the tailor, and after some cutting left, and I taken from the masters those cuttings and used it in this work too. So both the material is left over and almost thrown away. And I like those stories, those peoples collecting, and it's like a homage to them or many things together in this. This work is also called pressed for a space. And then many things come, layer by layer. If you look at it, so many things can come within that itself.
I want to come back to the idea of the sort of stories that are embodied in each of these objects and in each pot, in each piece of cloth. But I also interested in the idea of waste and these, often being considered sort of second-hand, being the pans that are thrown away in a sense, or the cloth that's thrown away, and how we delimit how much we use and what becomes waste, or what gets then recycled or reused. And I wanted to just briefly talk about the moment that began the show yesterday, which was the cutting of wood for a fire. And of course, in India, all important rituals begin with fire, really, and fire is both the thing that destroys but also creates. And I just wanted to, if you might say a little bit about that, the idea of cutting wood, of producing just as much as you need to make the fire to create and destroy, as it were.
Yeah, so yesterday we did the performance outside where they're cutting, chopping wood. And the idea was to chopping wood, like whenever we chop wood then we wanted to make it a fire for the cooking, fire for the warming, whatever. But what we are making the comfort, or we cut the wood to make a furniture, table, house, whatever. So whenever we cut the wood, something is already constructed by nature, we destroy that to cut the wood. So form of something, construction, and same time destroying something too. So I like that idea playing with. But same time, before, when we chopped the wood, we knew that this much wood we needed it for our cooking or warming the home or warming ourselves. And we know the amount that time, how much wood we exactly needed it. But now, today, we don't know. We don't know anything how much electricity we needed it. How much electricity world produce it? Do we exactly produce it how much every individual needed it? So, including food, including many things. So, we don't know exactly how much things we do for ourselves and how much things we waste for ourselves. So we have no idea. So this chopping wood is almost reminding and bringing us together our requirement and first act of human labor same time. So that was the main idea of the
Yeah, no, you know, it's, and I think because here also we're seeing sort of, in a sense, what a society wastes, or what it gets rid of, the old pans, the extra cloth, so, and somehow can we kind of bring that back to mind, and even, you know, pressed for space, the pun in that title, as we waste more and more, we're closing down the space we have to do anything. And I think these works really make us think about some of those issues. The sound of two black holes colliding. So this really is the centerpiece in many ways of this particular show, and it's again a brand new piece, and very striking piece for anyone who knows Subodh's earlier work. What's going on?
Yeah, good question, because even I don't know what's going on. And thus I wanted to bring it in this particular installation. Because when you see this house, we all know the form of the house. But when you see this light inside the house, it's almost like too bright to look at. Basically, you feel uncomfortable to look at it. And thus I also wanted to do that. You feel uncomfortable with this particular work. It's like almost someone or some kind of somebody invented inside and came inside, and what is it, we don't know. And when you hear the sound again, and basically this particular work is about the climate change, the more and more floods coming, more and more tsunami coming, more and more earthquake coming, and we don't know. We're doing every day whatever we wanted to do. So we do eat our regular routine. We work, we eat food, we sleep, we do our normal things. But same time, is subconscious today in the world where we are living is some kind of surprise, some kind of threat. Yeah, so some kind of threat or something back of your head always surprise you sometime, and this work is about that. And it's like what kind of energy it is, what kind of source it is, do we are getting invented for some other species, whatever, or we are making ourselves this noise. and we're creating our uncomfort within us too. So many things in this works. And when you see the mirror, it's like almost still, and when sound comes, it's become basically totally moving, and it's like you watching imagine underwater yourself, imagine the water, and almost like become a water of the seat when you look at it.
I mean, so this is an old Malabar house from the Kerala part of India. Without prying into your unconscious too much, this fabric came to you in a dream. Is that right?
I thought about it. Yes, I thought about it in night time, almost like a dream.
Almost, and so what's that? I mean, what is that doing?
I wanted to dramatize the situation. And it's like something gone inside. It's like when a snake leaves the skin behind and gone inside. So it's something kind of trace, and it's some kind of trace left behind. And what is it, and why it is this much fabric? Even I have no idea.
No, it's an incredibly powerful piece, and I think one has to be with it for some time to sort of fully sense that. It's also a very disturbing piece. This is kind of almost like, when you're kids, you have these little pellets, which when you add water, they expand. And I'm sort of thinking, press for space. If you poured water on it, the utensils would come back to life like this and sort of expand, and it would kind of become a three-dimensional object again, if you see what I mean. But I want to talk a bit about also the title of this, which is a line from a children poetry, nursery kind of poem. So a sort of poem.
I will tell you in Hindi, and Sunil will translate it.
Okay.
So it's called Chanda Mama दूर के पुआ पकावे गुड़ के अपने खाए थाली में मुन्ना को खाए प्याली में. But I taken the first sentence, the only title.
Yeah. So it's roughly the moon is the Uncle Moon is far. I cook jaggery and pudding. I serve it in a bowl, and I serve it
himself. He eat in the big plate, big plate, and he served the kids in the small
bowl. Yeah. So and it's a rhyme that every child in India has heard, and of course it's referring to.
But interesting thing, how that time even from the primitive time, how the dialogue, even the human started with the faraway stars, whatever moon looked like. So I was interested in the even distance, how much become a family and relative, and moon become a part of the family, every home. And I like the idea, how come moon become an Uncle Moon? And same time, how we live today, and how much we are, when you see those stars, especially the 7-star, and anywhere in the world, and I recognize it from childhood, that star. And somehow, when I was in my rooftop and sleeping in the rooftop, I thought this is star only this part of the world. But when I came other part and travel, I see the same star again. So how same time your roof is only one roof where we are today, and still, no matter like I said, everyday object when I see it is coming from our place. But same time, it's become universal in many ways. And interesting thing, I haven't exhibited my painting here. I wanted to exhibit paintings, and when you see this.
Don't try this at home.
When you see this surface, and if you take the close-up of this surface image and you look at it separately, it will remind you like some kind of cosmos, some kind of own universe. And things, I look at it and it's like almost like a palm reading. So every individual, every human being have a own palm and own line. In the same way, every single pan has a own universe, own pan. Many people eaten in this pan in various moods. Many stories that, and how come they created the universe. So I was interested in that idea. So making this particular work, it's called, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, what we said right at the beginning, this kind of relationship between the intimate and domestic, the everyday use that a family has of an object, or the everyday storytelling that mothers do with their children, and how that opens up to both to past history, but also to a universe, to a kind of cosmic universe whose ends we can't really see. I mean, this particular piece, in the way it was, again, just think a bit about how it was made. Is it literally done sort of through trial and error of hanging each piece, or was it mapped? Is there software that can sort of do this with the? How do you do it?
But
is it lots of little?
Even this piece, this was the toughest piece to hang for us, and every piece hang individually, and making that shape, it was not easy. So sometimes it totally destroyed it, but we have to correct it all the time. And so for me, no computerized manner to hang this piece, but always very with the naked eye, you make this piece, and intense job, I must say that. And it's this piece. Yesterday was opening. The day before yesterday, this piece finished, working almost 2 weeks, continuous, 7 people working on this every day. So no doubt this piece is it's almost 1,500 utensils. So each utensil hang with separately, and lots of.
It's a physically complicated piece to put up. But, I mean, to go back to the relationship between painting and a piece like this, press for space. In a sense, they're sculptural objects, but they're also a kind of painting.
Absolutely.
Using the kind of idea of the grid and some very classical formal ideas of modernism, really. Whereas here they come alive, and the same objects, in a way, not compressed, come alive in a completely different way. And I just wondered if, Subodh, you might talk a little bit about the relationship between in your own thinking and work between painting and the sculptural and three-dimensional objects that you do. Is there any particular distinction, or are they just two different forms for exploring the same kind of ideas, or do they make you do very different things in each of those two forms?
Make you do very different things. And since my practice, since the beginning, I trained as a painter, but I start making a sculpture over the last 20 years. And then still I do painting. So I make a video, I do performing, I make painting, I do watercolor. So I am multimedia artist and work various way. So all the time, each time, whenever I start making any new piece, I always like to experiment. I always like to do things with, okay, what is the possibility with this object or this material? So I will always explore that, and I will not leave any single corner without doing it. So press for a space is also a part of, while I'm making this piece, or I'm working with the utensil over the years, so many years now, and press for a space, very new piece. I never thought about that, doing that, and it's happened after 10, 15 years, like that, something. So it's always more into it, and every day it's like a surprise you, your own material, and if you keep doing it, keep surprising you. So I don't know what next will come, but definitely, something new will come with the same utensils.
I'm just wondering if Somerset has ever seen so much evidence of Indian cooking and food before. I think probably not.
Thank you, Sunil, for voicing many of our thoughts and directing the conversations. And Subodh, thank you for your generosity in sharing the practice with us so eloquently. It's been wonderful. I'm sure we will.
No, I wanted to must thank Anna, who really helped me every single day, so quietly, everything. Subodh, you need anything? Subodh, okay, so Anna, one Sunday I'm having a lunch with Anna, and definitely struggling with that room, with something is not working, something is not, even I don't know what is not working. And I asked Anna, can I paint that room? She said, of course. So, and she immediately picked up the phone and asked the David and Tobias, and the team is here, wonderful. I wanted to thank all of you to coming, and thank you to Anna again, and Hauser Wirth, and Tom, who closely I work with. Unfortunately, he's not here today, but yesterday he came, and yeah, thank you everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sunil.